It is like 2 degrees in here right now, so I'm wearing a scarf, blanket thingy, a sweater, and a sweater underneath that because I'm freezing, but I don't want to turn on the heat because I'm watching my consumption. It is really, really cold outside. We're currently in a winter storm warning and it's snowing really hard outside right now. Like looking out my window, it is basically a blizzard, so I'm kind of stranded in my apartment right now. Something arrived yesterday in the mail and I thought I would review it for you guys as a first impressions and wear test, and it is the LA Girl Pro Matte HD Long Wear Matte Foundation. This is a pretty recent launch. I got this off Ulta because that's pretty much the only place you can buy LA Girl in Canada because I don't think Walmart has it yet, and it finally arrived, so I thought I would squeeze this one in before the end of foundation February. What better way to spend a snowy Friday than filming a foundation video for you guys. So this foundation claims to have medium to full coverage. It's smooth, long wear, suede finish. It's pretty much the only claims on the back of this foundation. I have mine in the shade Natural, which I'm pretty sure is going to be too light for me. I really messed up my shade when I bought this online. It was really hard to tell, and this shade actually looked a lot darker online and it wasn't even the lightest shade, but it does seem pretty light, so we'll see how it goes. I think what I'm gonna do is apply half my face with a brush and then half my face with a sponge. I'm gonna shake up this foundation and squeeze some out onto the back of my hand. Oh, it's pretty liquidy. It looks like it has a really similar consistency to the LA Girl illuminating foundation, like the what is it called, other LA Girl foundation that they have out there, and it smells the exact same as well. I never really know what this smells like. Like I didn't know what it smelled like in the in their other foundation either. It just smells like something, but I can't exactly tell you what it is. Like not paint, but it almost is paint. I don't know. I think I'm going to apply it with a brush on this side and then I'll do a sponge on this side. So just taking my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush, I'm going to start blending this in. So I know that this shade is too light for me. Almost hoping that this will oxidize on my skin. Just sucks having to buy foundations online because the shades are really hard. So right off the bat, I can tell you that the brush, it has about a medium coverage. I wouldn't say it's full coverage, like there's a little blemish on my cheek that still kind of pokes through and I can still see my freckles. It has dried down almost completely. It doesn't really feel sticky or tacky on my skin anymore. It almost feels a little bit chalky actually, and it seems to be coming off on my fingers a little bit. I might actually like this one more with a sponge, but we shall see. Just seems to be also kind of emphasizing the dry patches on my face. I don't really have that many dry patches, but there's one on my nose and on my forehead, and it looks a little bit like it's emphasizing the dryness. Apply the side with this sponge now. This is my L'Oreal blending sponge, which I've been using pretty much for an entire month now. It's like my favorite sponge from the drugstore. I think I got about the same amount of coverage with the sponge side. I would say it's pretty much the same, like a nice medium coverage. It does look a little bit more matte on the brush side versus the sponge side, which tends to happen. Overall, it is still a matte foundation. It definitely looks matte. Again, though, I feel like it's emphasizing patches and dry skin a little bit on the sponge side as well. So I just think maybe this foundation wouldn't work if you had super dry skin. I have a pretty normal skin type. I just have dry patches right now, so it's definitely not doing those justice. But I do like the finish of it. It does look quite natural, but I'll give you guys a close-up shot of what it looks like after one layer. Besides the fact that my face looks like a pale orc right now, I do like the finish of it. It's definitely made my face look very matte, but at the same time I feel like it's made my skin look a little bit dry, so it might be one of those foundations that looks better throughout the day once it's kind of warmed up to my skin a little bit. I'm going to apply a second layer, I think with the sponge, not like a full second layer, but just a little bit more on the areas where I think I could use a little bit more help coverage wise. You can build it up, like I definitely built up coverage around this area here and this area here. Definitely buildable. I'm sure you could build it up to like a really full coverage. Definitely like the sponge side a little bit more than the brush side, so probably in the future I'm going to stick to using a sponge to apply this. But off initial applications, I'm liking how it's looking so far, so I'm going to apply the rest of my makeup and then I will check back in with you guys. So I am back with my makeup done. It is currently 3:15 in the afternoon, but I did finish applying my foundation around 3 o'clock, so this is what the foundation is looking like now. I will give you guys a close-up shot, of course. So off initial application, I actually do not like how this foundation is looking like on my skin. I think it is making my skin look like a dry desert. It looks so dry, crusty almost. I don't think it looks good on any of my dry areas, just not sitting well on my skin. So I'm really hoping that once it's kind of settled into my skin and warmed up a little bit, that it'll look better, because right now I really am not liking how it's looking. For under eye concealer, I did apply my Wet n Wild Photo Focus. I also set that with my RCMA No Color Powder. I did not even set the rest of my face because the foundation kind of set down matte and was also just looking and feeling really dry, so I did not set the rest of my face. I only set my under eyes and the areas where I added that extra bit of coverage. I also sprayed my face with the NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray, and it did help a little bit. Like, it did get rid of some of the powderiness, but even so, I don't think it looks great. And then on my lips is the Physicians Formula Healthy Liquid Lipstick in the shade Nut Tricious. So yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of this foundation at the moment. I don't think it's working with my skin. I am going to go on with my day. I will check in with you guys at the end of the night, probably around 11 or 10:30, depending on how tired I am. Hopefully this video kind of turns around and I start liking it a little bit more. That's kind of just my initial thoughts. I will check in with you guys at the end of the night. Bye. Hey you guys, so it's currently 4:30 right now in the afternoon. So I know I've only been wearing this foundation for about an hour and a half, but there's been a slight change of plans. The weather is kind of having a little bit of a break right now, so I'm gonna see if I can get home to my parents' house tonight. So I'm gonna leave my house now, like right about now, and try to get home before it starts snowing again. So I have to close off the video here. What I'm hoping to do is maybe film a shot of what my skin looks like at the end of the night at my parents' home. I'll see if I can borrow my little sister's camera again. I did that for the first video in Foundation February, but if not, I will wear this foundation again tomorrow and then show you guys what it looks like after 8 hours. So I'm really sorry about the change in plans. It is a blizzard, like I said, so I have to leave and go home, so I won't have my camera with me. Just give you guys a quick close-up right now. I feel like the foundation does look better than it did after initial application. I find that it doesn't look quite as dry on my skin anymore. That's kind of like what I predicted, that it would look better the longer it's been on my face. I still don't think it looks the greatest around my mouth area. I don't know, it's kind of looking strange around my mouth, but I actually don't mind how it looks anymore. I think it's warmed up to my skin. I feel like it has oxidized as well. When I watched the clips from before, I was like a pale ghost, but now I feel like it matches. Like in person, it matches my neck. I don't know what it's looking like with my bright lights on my face, but it's definitely darkened a little bit so that it matches me more, which is good. So yeah, I will either check in with you guys at the end of an 8-hour shift tonight, or I will check in tomorrow after wearing the foundation for 8 hours. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next check-in. Also, let me know if you like this eyeshadow, because I was playing with some mustard tones and I actually think I kind of like it. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, so it is the next day. I have been wearing this foundation for about 8.5 hours. I put it on at 8:15 this morning and it is now 4:45. Of course, all my makeup and my outfit is different because it's the next day. I used a sponge to apply my entire face today, and then I used the LA Girl Pro Concealer under my eyes, and to set my under eye concealer, I used the Rimmel Stay Matte powder, like the original Stay Matte powder. Did not set the rest of my face, so this is how it's looking like after about 8.5 hours without having set it with either a powder or a setting spray. I will say that yesterday at the end of the night, like after about 9-10 hours, I like inspected my face in the mirror and I thought it looked really, really good. It did not look oily, it did not look greasy, it stayed very matte, and it wasn't like separating anywhere on my face. I wish I could have shown you what it looked like, but it did look very good yesterday. I wore it for a full like 9-10 hours, and that was setting it with a setting spray, but again, no powder, because I really don't feel like you need to set this one with a powder unless you tend to get really oily. The only thing I will say is that for some reason, this feels kind of weird on my skin. It feels almost like chalk. I know that's a weird thing to describe, but when I apply this and then when I run my hand on it, some of the foundation will come off on my fingers, but it has like a really chalky like texture to it. I don't know, it feels like chalk, like blackboard chalk. And I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but that's how it feels on my skin. It's just the weirdest feeling. It just feels chalky. Like, you know when you are going rock climbing and you like chalk your fingers? That's what it feels like. But other than that, I don't really have any complaints about this foundation. I think it wears really nicely. I don't like how it looks after initial application, but I do think once it kind of settles into your skin, it ends up looking really nice. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but I'm wearing the same shade as I wore yesterday, the shade Natural. It has kind of like oxidized on my skin a little bit, so it matches more. When I initially applied it, it was like completely white, like I was ghost face, but now I feel like it looks pretty good, like it's a pretty decent match. So keep that in mind. If your skin tends to oxidize with foundations, this one might oxidize on you. But yeah, I like this foundation. I'm pretty impressed with it. I think it's really decent. It's about $9 Canadian, and it comes with the standard 30 milliliters of product, so I am happy with it. I'm definitely going to be wearing it more. That sums up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you would like to see more, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!